brother. Hit him up, brother.
There you go,
Sorry, brother.
We're rolling.
Let's get it, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Speak Your Truth podcast, man. We are here at DMV Studios. I'm with my guy, man, J Addo, boy. What's up, man?
All is well. Can't complain.
What's up, man? Look, this is gonna be a hot episode. I'm gonna tell you right now. He came in ready. I'm kind of like, oh shit, dude. But I don't know. He like,
you said speak your truth, man. I got to do that, man. That's what it got to be.
Hey, man, that's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. So for me, right, I was just talking a little bit before. You know, I'm still learning a lot more about you. You know, we kind of met through the chat on Instagram through pull up Tay Mutual guy. That man is
good,
working, man. Shout out Tay, man.
Yes, sir. That's all I got.
So you know, I saw his content in the chat, man. His I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying? His stuff in the chat always like had me like, oh wow,
he's working.
He's working, and he's from the county.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I was always showing love. Like, I gotta show love because it's like what we're doing, especially I feel like in Moco, contributing to the DMV and everything. It's like we right here with it. So it's like talk about. Let's start there, man. You know, with your journey with music, coming from Moco and everything like that, and obviously doing tremendous things you're doing now. We're gonna get into it, but talk about how you felt in the beginning, to start and really figuring out that music was your thing.
Okay, well, I started in the church, children's choir. Got kicked out because I wanted to play basketball, but that's how I started. Then I realized I actually like music, so I started in the high school talent show, and that started there. And then after the talent show, I realized I was like, man, I actually like music. This is a cool thing. So 2011, I took it serious. Started working with guys like Fat Trell, Phil Day, people like that. Started doing shows with like Logic, things like that. It was real dope, real dope. So I started young and early in the game. So from like 2011 to like 2015, I was working, doing my thing, and I really never looked back. But it's like I started young, kept moving, kept working, kept grinding, but when you're young like that, you don't really know much about the business side. So that's what led to a lot of like my mental break and things like that. So feel like I've been doing great things, impactful from the county.
Absolutely, man. I was gonna say, man, like I feel some of you I listened to it before. I like to do my song. At least when I do my interviews with the artists, at least I said, let me get a little bit of sound on them one more time before I listen to them. I listened to your current stuff, but I also wanted, like I said, we talked about 10 years ago now. I was listening to that different sound of music. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, like, what was it like? Especially being a black man and coming in from how it is in the DMV, and I feel like back then it was a little bit more comfortable for y'all to just be ourselves in that style of music, because it's like club vibes. It's everybody just just having a good time, and they jamming out doing their thing. It's not too much. I feel like I saw like politicking going on, especially back then. So
early in the game, I would say it was more free. You felt free. It was business not involved as much. You just upload a song on YouTube. Everybody was a lot more cooler. Not saying they're not cool now, but it was a lot more friendliest because a lot of us, we were just having fun. We didn't care about the business. We didn't care about the money. Just having a good time making music and making, your hobby, having fun. So it wasn't many politics. I think it was, me personally, I had a great time, bro. I had a great time. I knew nothing about the business, but I had a great time, honestly, though. So I have no complaints. I met so many great people. Fortunately, I had a manager at that time that did me wrong in a sense, but that's what comes with the territory, being young and things like that. So, I started young, started doing my thing, but I feel like I said, it was no politics involved. It was like, just have fun, have fun, do what you do. Just have fun.
For sure. So what would you, now kind of talking about looking back on that younger self, what would you kind of say now with your knowledge, the knowledge you have now, we're going to fast forward to it, but what's the knowledge that you would kind of give yourself, that youngest version of yourself, J Addo, coming up with music?
Take your time. I feel like we're in a generation where everybody sees things online, so they feel like they have to rush their craft because they see their homie or their female friend doing their thing, winning. Take your time. Everybody wins on their own time. I would tell myself, like, don't feel peer pressured into like having to, that person got on BET, I need to get on BET too. Or that person got on MTV. You don't know what that person went through. You don't know how many L's they took behind the scene. You just saw the IG post. You saw everybody say congratulations. You don't know how many times they got to know. For example, like BET. I got on BET for the first time like 4 years ago. People, exactly, amazing, great. Shout out to BET. Thank you. So I got on there, but people don't realize I probably got I got multiple no's before that. So it's just a prime example. So when they saw the congratulations, it's like, dang, you don't know what I even went through to even get there. So I feel like I would just tell my younger self and whoever else is listening, younger, age don't really even matter with that, but just take your time. Don't let the internet rush your grind. Don't let the internet rush your process. Everybody wins in different ways. You know, be grateful for the process, even when it's ups and downs. The downs make you better. So just take your time. I would tell my younger self, take my time.
For sure, take your time. That's something I'm learning about myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm still navigating through just learning about the music industry, podcast industry, just production in general, right? Shout out to my guy, man. He's in the background for the first time with me today. But you know, I'm just, that's my thing too. Like I'm not trying to, you know, force anything that doesn't need to be, that's not meant for me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what a lot of people get caught up in, no matter where you're from. You know what I'm saying? Just you want to achieve something, especially nowadays with social media. You see this instant gratification from certain things, and it's like that's not real life. So I know for you, you've been in the game for 10 years. Yeah. So that I know that shit ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? I would just keep it real. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard. So you know, and then you were talking about you took even a break. Like what was that break like? You know, what was the purpose of that break? Because clearly, you know, you come back, you're still doing your thing. Like, what was the purpose of that break? Because I feel like that's a big piece of, like, you know, taking your time for what you got to do.
Well, I think the break was one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life because I wasn't such a, you know, like I said, when you come in the game so young, you feel like, you know, you're supposed to get this, get that, but you don't know the business aspect of your dream. So I feel like I started getting a lot of like false promises, broken deals, a lot of things started going left. Right. So I was like, maybe I got to sit back and just figure this thing out. Like my mental started getting affected. I was also in school at that time too, so I'm trying to finish school. A lot of things I was trying to do at once, but people don't understand it. They're just seeing your upload online and, hey, what's the next song? They don't really care about your, unfortunately, we're in a business where, you know, when you're an artist, they only care about your next drop a lot of times. They don't care about how's the family, how's this. They don't care about that. When's the next song coming out? So I felt like super overwhelmed at a young age at that time. So I just walked away, man. I think it was one of the greatest things I've done because I got to see people for who they were. I got to like literally like forget the J Addo hat. Like I'm me. Like without the music, without this, people started falling back. Like, okay, now you get to see who was for you, who wasn't for you. So that 4-year break, I think it kind of exposed a lot of things, if I can really say, exposed a lot of people like, oh, you were never really in my corner, or you were really never in my corner, but it exposed it. So it was great, man. I needed it, and I came back 2019 and just started swinging. And I can even tell the story of how I even came back. So it's funny because I had a record. I was back and forth when I wanted to come back. It was like 2018, 17. I never knew. But I had a record called Right Now that was in the cut in February 2019. So I had it in the cut, and then I was just like, I don't know when because you know if you leave something for 4 years, you gotta come back. You can't just drop, hey, I'm back here. You gotta have a big bang. So I had this record called Right Now in February, and in April 2019, I went skydiving. Changed my entire life. I'm about to tell y'all right now, changed my entire life. So I went skydiving for my birthday in 2019. And it's funny because my actual pause, but my lips went viral because the pictures and everything. So they went viral. So the photos were so damn goofy, you know. So they went viral. So I remember telling my girl, she saw it, she was like, man, people gonna love this. So I didn't want to post it, but everybody knows me, I'm a funny guy, I have fun. So I posted it. I mind you, I posted maybe in 30 seconds of the post, I had like 100 comments, and I was slicing it. It was going crazy. In my caption, I was like, I'm going to delete soon. My boy called me. Shout out to my boy Vidal. He called me. He was like, do not delete that. I'm like, nah, this joint too goofy. He's like, bruh, this is gold. So I kept it up. It went viral for like 2 weeks straight. Shade Room called me. Fox 5, all on Google, no lies. Fox 5, ABC. I got interviews on CBS, yes, sir, CBS Philly.
I said you on the news.
Everything, the traction. It was literally viral. That was my first viral moment ever, and I was like, this is my opportunity to come back in the game. So I dropped the song, built that traction, started performing on the news. Everything mashed into from a funny moment into a viral moment, turned into my music. So I meshed it into did big interviews. I'm like, oh, I also do music. So it all traction came in, and I just started going crazy ever since.
Bro. That is amazing, bro. Like just like you said, it's the perfect opportunity. Like
that was God written. That was God written.
Like you can't write it better than that. Like, you know, everybody likes to joke around with the script. I like to joke around with the script of everything like that. The script right there was for you.
That was it.
That was for you.
That was it. Meant to be.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, even though it wasn't like music per se, like, and that's what anybody, right? If you have the opportunity, if like, that's why if you have something for yourself sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Try to build something for yourself, because no matter what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, you don't know what plug can get you into what door.
It was the platform.
Oh my God, bro, that's amazing, bro. Like, I
appreciate you.
I'm kind of in shock right now, just hearing it. Like, the first time, like, I think I'm skydiving, next thing you know, he back in his jam with the music. Like,
I'm telling you, it was a mix, and it was God written, because like I said, I didn't know how I wanted to drop, but I had a banger in the cut. That's literally my highest stream record till this day. You know, shout out to Right Now, everybody still loves that song to this day, and I mixed it together.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's gold right there. I like that right there. So, you know, transitioning, man. Now you built your buzz back up.
Yeah.
Still blowing up. Oh yeah. Still bringing up the quality. Still doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, one thing I like to, I'm trying to figure out was about my Instagram reels, right? I want to talk to you about that real quick, you know, because you were talking about the group chat earlier with your reels. Yeah. Quality is like A1. Like, I feel like your quality, especially with the music that you produce, like make. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all fits. Like you said, it all makes sense. Like, I feel like you're definitely someone that I see that, you know, is real particular and wants to take their time with their craft and making sure that, you know, the vision is complete when the product is out. So, you know, talk about what you feel like in that process whenever you're creating for real.
So I feel like reels or just visuals in general is very important. I feel like a lot of people kind of like try to rush it and don't put no creativity behind it. But my thing is, if you're gonna want to have heat, you got to make sure the visuals are heat. Honestly, so I feel like my visuals are creative. Like, I take my time. I understand, like, I literally have journals in the house. I'm like, okay, this is how I want to do it. This reel's gonna come like this, things like that. So I think it's all about just having a vision. Like, today we did a boxing visual. You know, you don't see a lot of singers in the ring doing boxing, you know, performing, doing things like that. So keeping it creative, keeping it fresh, seeing what you did last time, what can be different from that time, and just keeping that creative flow going. It's easy to get stagnant, very easy to get stagnant. You get lazy, get stagnant, but when it comes to reels, it's about, okay, how can you one up the next one? And not talking about someone else, one up yourself. You know, you're your only competition. You don't matter about who.
All right, we're rolling.
All right, man. So sorry about the SimCon situations. You know what I'm saying? So J Addo was talking this shit though. Y'all know right now. Y'all know, y'all seen it, man.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, talking that shit right now.
Talk about the IDK comments.
Oof. Background going crazy. There we go. He's spicing it up. So talk about it though. You are more prominent in the space of music. So I feel like your opinion definitely going to matter to a lot of people. So how do you feel about what IDK said, and especially for the DMV?
Well, first and foremost, shout out to IDK. I'm close to his circle, and I know him very well too as well. So I'll tell him just how I told him. He actually called me. We had a 1-hour FaceTime call, really dope. So we talked about it. I told him, I personally felt no way, because I know what I'm doing. I know I'm one of the staples. If you reached out to me, clearly I'm one of the guys that have a voice. So I'm grateful for that. But I told him I see why other artists feel away.
Exactly.
Because I personally thought it was a lazy take. I thought it was one of those things where it's like, it showed PR in a sense. It's like, okay, you could have answered that. You answered a lot quicker. You're in the moment type of thing. But I feel like I knew what he was trying to say, but it's how you say it. We're already in an area where sensitivity is at a highway. And I see what you're trying to say, but it's all about wording it. We have a lot of artists here. Same thing I told him. Like, we have a lot of rappers, a lot of singers, but just like I've told him and many other people, I'm like, the street crowd is not the only crowd that's doing their thing. We got R&B. We got so many talented rappers, so many singers doing their thing. So I feel like the take was a little lazy. I feel like you could have even said a few people. You didn't have to say my name. I ain't tripping. But there's other people that you could have named at the moment. You had to name everybody, because we can't please everybody. But I feel like we do have the talent. It kind of steps us back a little bit. If you say there's nobody here. So somebody, let's say if let's say if a big record label from Epic Records president was watching that interview. Oh, nobody's in DMV. We don't gotta go there. And he is a big voice. He's a big voice. He's doing his thing. He got things going on. So he's a big voice. So I feel like if you say something like that, that's gonna push us back. We already took 100 steps forward. We don't want to take 50 steps back. 50 steps back. So I feel like it was just about how you say it. Get what you were trying to say. But it's all about how you say it. I think it has to make sense. You have to think about everybody. You could have put someone on, like, hey, let's say, oh, Nasby's doing this thing. J Addo's doing this thing. There's a lot of artists out here that's doing it there. You could have just said name. They're gonna be like, who's that? Exactly. Next you know, somebody's watching. They check them out. So I feel like it stepped us back a little bit. But once again, it's the area we're in. It's the sensitive times that we're in. Right. So we all, including him, we all got to tighten up. You know, and that same thing I told him. I said, the next big podcast, I said, we'll ask you that again. You just got to spin it right. But the same thing I told him in private, I'll say the same thing in public. I had his back on that. I understood what you were trying to say. But it's all about, we're all humans. We're not going to answer everything perfectly. It's just about what you do for the next time. I think he's starting to shift it right. You know, he did a nice little freestyle. Right. He's showing love to more DMV artists, you know, as he was doing before. Yeah. And that's one thing I would say.
He let himself up to himself.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that he already was doing the community work. You know, he did a lot of community work out here. And I've been to those events myself. So I think a lot of it got forgotten in the moments. Like, oh, who's he? Why's he not? He does do a lot. Right. But once again, on him, you know, I'm pretty sure he took his own accountability. Just got to learn from that and get better for the next answer, because they will ask you that again.
Yeah, they will ask you that again, for sure. And that was like, you know, just the conversation in itself is interesting, right? Because, I mean, sometimes I think about it in the sense, like, you know, we talk about the street crowd, like, you know, that's kind of like what I feel like the big industry is always pushing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
so more than that.
It's much more than that. Right, and I feel like also in that same token, though, it's like, all right, well, in other places, street crowds have made it. Why isn't the DMV street crowd made it? So, and we go back to like the collaboration over competition. So it's a lot of things we that has to be worked on. I feel like out here, because the street crowd have talent too. Yeah, it's not to say that they don't have talent. It's just now we have to start making it make sense to get these guys in the same position that other artists in the DMV are doing, because we have the Rico Nasties, the Junies too. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of other people that have their own different style of music that I feel like even if we put it all together, you know what I'm saying? The DMV story,
that's all of us in one room in the studio. What? All hits. What? All hits.
Oh my God, I just vlog that.
I'm telling you. So, but literally. But that's the problem though. Like I said, told most people online. I spoke about it too myself. Only thing that's holding the DMV area back is pride and ego. That's about it. Once we humble ourselves a lot more, work together a lot more, and I practice what I preach. I have a lot of features. You know, my first album I did in 2022, I had 8 DMV artists on the album. So I practice what I preach. I didn't care about the followers. You know, so it's kind of like, once we all work together, big or small, whatever it is, that's when people are going to be like, oh, damn, DMV got the talent. You know, they got what they need, you know? So it'll get there one day, but right now we're in a place where everybody's on an island to themselves, you know, unfortunately. So it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And I love what, just what a space like Double M Studios even provides, right? You know, a space for the artists, just at least it's a piece, you know what I'm saying? Just for them to come to a studio, work together, see other people from where they from doing their things. I love. That's why even me, I'm not even an artist, but I love connecting with artists, because it's like it's similar to like the athlete ground for me, because it's like everybody's just putting their head down and working and just
gotta work.
Just trying.
That's all we can do.
Just trying to make it out, man. So, and I feel like that's even that too. I talk about it a lot, but I want to talk about with you as well, because like we talk about work ethic. I feel like. Do you feel like that's another thing that a lot of people are kind of missing, even within like the business side of it too? Because like you're putting out, you're talented, like you said, but you don't necessarily know how to work to work with your talent. So how would you describe something like that, or at least
people gotta stop being lazy. I think we're in times where people want everything handed to them because social media, and they feel like they can just blow up off of one video. Laziness is still a thing. I feel like once you understand the work ethic and the grind, that this shit is not easy. I don't know if I can cuss. That stuff is not easy. Okay, that stuff it is not easy. Like, you really gotta work. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta put your head down, work, pause, crazy. But you gotta really get to it, because
I didn't even think about that.
You can't say nothing these days. I had to say that. But
I didn't even think about that.
But you really gotta work though, man. You really gotta work for it, man. Nothing's gonna be handed to you. Like, and like I told you earlier, man, people are so entitled, man. It's like people feel like this person owes you support, that person got to support me. No, we don't. So that's why I say, when you have support, build on that support and keep growing that village. Don't care what people got to say. They talking negative as part of the game. You can't please everybody. It is what it is. If they don't like you, so what? It is what it is. Focus on the ones that like you, and build and find more people that like you too, and do a show. So I feel like it's just all about, like you said, it's once people understand the work ethic and the grind, that it's not easy. Like, even if you go viral today, what are you going to do next week when that viral moment is over? Are you going to have content to build that fire on fire? So it's like, people want to go viral all the time, but it's like, all right, once you go viral, you got to
do it again.
Keep dropping heat. You don't just viral one hit wonder and that's it. So once people stop the laziness and the entitlement, they start understanding the game a lot more.
For sure, for sure, man. And that's not even just, it's life. I feel like it's life, man. Because everybody got something they're working on, like you talked about. So, J Addo, man, you came up with that.
I had to, man.
Shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You might have got me today. I ain't gonna lie. He was like, yo, I got this. Like, I know I'm ready to
do all type of interviews, brother. All type of interviews everywhere. So I'm equipped.
For sure. Before we wrap up, though, we're gonna do some top 5.